Thank you for tuning in to Teaching for the Culture. My name is Steve Cona. I'm the Vice Chair of the Hillsborough County School Board, and I'm running for re-election for School Board District 1.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in to Teaching for the Culture. And I'm so thankful that we have the Honorable Steve Cona in the building. And basically, he wanted to come on. I invited him to come on to have a conversation, transparent. We have a couple questions for him. And before we get started with the questions, I want to open up the platform to the Honorable Steve Cona. How you doing today?
Hey, Bianca, how are you? It's great to be here. I'm a fan of your morning tea in the morning, and I'm happy to be on your show.
Well, I'm so glad that you are here, and thank you so much for that. So let's get started with the first question. So question number one is, what motivates you to become a school board member?
So Bianca, I have to tell you, I'm a proud product of Hillsborough County Public Schools. My kids went to Hillsborough County Public Schools. It's all I've known my whole life. I've born and raised in Tampa. So the students are my motivation. The students of this district are my main motivation. And I personally, as a school board member, I think all the work that I do gets done in the schools, talking to teachers. I visited every school in my school district. I visit schools 2 to 3 times a week because I want to know what's going on in those schools. I want to be part of that school community. And I think, what you see when you're at board meetings, that's a very small part of the things that I'm trying to accomplish. I'm trying to solve as many problems at each school as I possibly can, whether it be, they need more cones for their pickup, or they need, more resources, or a fan for their covered court. Those are the types of things that having a school board member in schools, you can kind of get those things accomplished a lot faster. So for me, my motivation is all about the kids and being part of each school's different community.
So I just applaud you for everything that you're doing. And thank you for, being a school board member. My second question is, what do you see the current challenges facing public education in our state and also in our country?
Yeah, and I think there's one problem that is with both, and that's retaining quality, high-performing teachers, attracting them and retaining them. So when I got on the school board, the first thing I wanted to do was I wanted to work our school budget from the classroom outward, not from the top down. So what that means is, what are we providing in the classroom? Because the main thing is, teachers know when they come into the profession, they're not going to be making, $1 million a year, but they don't do it for that. They do it because they love kids and that they want to teach. So what we can do as a school district is to make every single school a quality learning environment for them to teach. And so if we can do that, if we can provide as many resources to them as possible to get their job done, I think that's something that we need to work for. So, what I've done is, we need to make sure that we are in it with the teachers. They need to feel like their school board has their back. And that means you got to go to the classrooms. You have to see what they're dealing with on a daily basis. You have to try to help solve those issues. And from a policy perspective, what can we do? Well, we could offer better benefits to our teachers, higher salary, nice environments for them to teach in. There's a lot of things. So one of the things that we're going to focus on, hopefully in the next year or so, is how can we make a more robust medical package for our teachers? Because it's great, our teachers don't have to pay for their insurance, but if they want to insure their kids or their family, our medical insurance is pretty high when you want to bring in other people. So I think if we can bring in more people to our health insurance plan, attract teachers, give them the environments, give them beautiful schools to teach at with great leadership, I think that's the type of support that we as school board members can help achieve in our schools.
I agree. So what are 2 to 3 needs that must be priorities that our district needs to address? And why do you see these as priorities?
Well, I think number one is certainly a district of our size, having DNF schools, there's no place for it. Every single child in our district, regardless of what zip code they live in, needs to be able to go to an A or B school. And that needs to be our top priority because, sadly, the way the state, rates schools, they give them a letter grade. Those are the rules that we have to engage in. So with that being said, we need to make sure that we're doing everything that we can to make our schools A and B ready schools. A preferably, but and how we do that is we have to give those resources to those schools that might not have, might not be in the neighborhoods that bring the different cultures to that. So we need to make sure that all schools in our school district are A and B, and that's our biggest challenge. And I think that's something that bringing in our new superintendent that we're going to focus on. We're going to get the right people in the right places to move the work for those students. And look, I'm lucky in my school district. We don't have any DRF schools, but there's a lot of work that goes into that, and we need to make sure that we are setting the stage and ensuring that our schools, to me, C, D, and F schools don't change the culture of a community. A and B schools do. A and B people want to flock to A and B schools. So if we can create that, we're doing some great work. In my district, it doesn't matter if you're a Title I school or you're not. I have plenty of Title I schools. We have plenty of Title I schools that are A and B schools, and they are doing great things. So labeling a school to me is unacceptable. All of our schools should be AB, regardless of where they sit in our county.
And I appreciate your advocacy surrounding that, just due to, the previous situations that's taken place with rezoning and all that. So I do appreciate you using your voice to advocate for that.
And rezoning is a lot easier when you have A and B schools.
Yeah.
Right. And people shouldn't fear of rezoning if you have the same quality education in every school.
Yeah, you're right. And so during your season as, being a board member, you have faced some adversity during your tenure. And so I wanted to know and give you an option to have a transparent moment. And how would you respond to that adversity?
Well, I think number one, you have to embrace accountability. Being an elected official, you are accountable for everything you say, everything you do. But you also have to hold others to that same level of accountability. So I will tell you, being this new board that we have, 3 of us were elected at the same time. You had a lot of turnover on our board. So when you have a lot of turnover, you have new school board members coming in to a situation where technically, our school district hasn't had an outside leader since 1969. So, when you have leadership that has been doing the same thing the same way for a very long period of time, and you have 3 new school board members coming on and they're asking tough questions, and some of the responses that you get from people is, well, that's the way we've always done it. Well, that doesn't necessarily work for new school board members who are asking tough questions about accountability. So look, I hold myself to a high standard as an elected official. I put my money where my mouth is. My time, I go into the schools. I'm trying to make sure that, when principals call me, that I can help them, and that when students call me or parents call me, that we can work together to rectify that situation. So it's tough. It's tough when you're coming into a school district and, they're used to doing things a certain way. And even though maybe the status quo isn't necessarily working for our kids, and when you challenge the status quo, sometimes that's going to upset people. And, as long, I sleep great at night, Bianca, because I know that I'm doing what's right for kids and what's right for our schools. And there might be some internal challenges, and, some people may, get excited but it's okay. It's okay to have diverse opinions, because that's the only way that we're going to solve these problems that we have in our school district, is when we have diverse ideas coming to the table and not the same run over suggestions that has plagued the school district for a long time.
I really appreciate that answer. And so what is your vision for education in the community moving forward?
Well, every child should be able to learn every day. And our teachers should be able to teach in an environment that is attractive for them, attractive for their students, and conducive for learning. And we are the largest employer in Hillsborough County. I want us to be the best employer. And for us to do that, we can't do it alone. We have to partner with our public partners and our private partners to make sure that educating our kids is our biggest priority. We are the largest economic engine in Hillsborough County. We just need to make sure that people understand that. So embracing every aspect of our community to make our schools great. Because look, we don't have the resources to be everything for every child, but we need to be the hub. We need to be the hub for that. And I think, this board that we have now, we're working really hard for kids. And I appreciate every single school board member that works with me. I know where their hearts are, and their hearts are really to try to move this district forward. And sometimes when you're on the dais, things look messy. But, democracy is messy, and doing stuff for our kids can sometimes, be a challenge in a public setting. But I think everyone's heart's in the right situation. And I think when we move this district forward, you're going to see, with onboarding our new superintendent and having a real evaluation of everyone's duties and job descriptions, you're going to see big change for our school district. And I'm so excited to be able to be part of that change.
Yeah, I'm excited too. I told the new superintendent, Addison Davis, that I will be providing him my receipt book so that he could do what he will. He's excited to see the receipt book so we can go ahead and clean house.
Yeah. Well,
so
I think, let's be honest, like, from an administrative perspective, we have a very large administration. And I think, and I think what we need to right size it. And right sizing it means maybe it doesn't need to be so big, because when there's too many levels between the teacher and the superintendent, the message gets clouded. So, I'm hoping that, we can get to a point where everyone feels the accountability in a very close knit, and we can really move the work in this district.
I love that. Yeah. The communication piece is very vital in this large district. So, so my final question for you is, how can people support you?
Well, they can go to votestevecona.com. Right now I'm anticipating that, I'll probably have an election coming up. I look forward to going out and doing it all over again. I just did it, not too long ago. I'm hoping that the voters will turn out and give me a full 4 years on this school board. I feel I've done a lot in a very short period of time. One of the things I forgot to mention earlier was, when I first got here, the one thing I wanted to do was to ensure that we had some equity in education, was to bring an IB program to Alonzo High School. And that program is going to get kicked off next school year. And I'm happy to report that the majority of those students who accepted to go to the IB program are Hispanic students. So it will be the first majority Hispanic IB program in the county. And I couldn't be more excited for not only them, but for Alonzo in general, because those kids in the Alonzo school district were being bused to Robinson or Hillsborough to go to an IB school. And we didn't have anything in Northwest Hillsborough County for an IB program. So having that IB program there was something I wanted to get accomplished. And we were able to get that accomplished in a very short period of time. So, look, advocacy is important. You say it all the time on your show. People have to show up and advocate for their kids. And they can really move the needle, but not just show up at school board meetings. Go to schools, volunteer, read to kids. Let's focus on, we focused for a long time on graduation rates. Let's start focusing now on the whole child throughout their whole tenure. So let's start, Dr. Hahn's doing a great job with early childhood literacy. We're all on her bandwagon supporting that. All of our board members are working really hard to make sure that we are looking at the whole child at every grade level. And if we can do that, we're going to accomplish amazing things. But like I said, it's not easy work. You know it, Bianca. This is not easy to do. But if we work together and we row the same direction, this school district is going to be great, and it's going to be the best school district in the state. So I'm looking forward to working with our new superintendent and earning another 4 years on this school board.
Absolutely. Well, I just want to thank you, and I appreciate the great work that you're doing and the advocacy and, fighting hard for our children every single day. So I definitely applaud you and your efforts. And so, guys, this is it. This is how you could support. This is, Steve Cona. He's been here and he's running for reelection. So, if you like him, support him, donate, just be involved, be engaged with what's going on, folks, because it's serious. It's serious out here.
Important. And thank you for what you do, Bianca, and I appreciate you having me on your show.